What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at again with another video. So we're gonna check out how NYC street racing became unstoppable. Now, I've seen several clips of people from New York cutting up in the New York traffic, and it seems like a lot of times they're able to get away for the moment. I've seen clips of people shutting down entire highways to have races, and a lot of money's on the line. And I've met some people that are originally from New York. They moved down here, and they pretty much say, yeah, the racing scene up there is really different. Like, boys really don't give a damn when it comes to running from the cops and swimming in traffic and stuff like that. So it's just one of those things where the racing scene in NYC is completely different from a lot of places around the country and around the world. So we're going to check it out. And to all my NYC subscribers, let me know, how is the racing scene up there still today? Is it still kind of wild? Is it still crazy? Do people just don't be giving a damn? I know they have stricter rules up there when it comes to cars. Like, your car can't be loud in certain areas. One of my New York homies was like, yeah, they'll give you a ticket if your car is too loud or something like that. They have ways to measure how loud your car is while you're driving around. Don't know if that's true or not, but I know their laws are much stricter when it comes to cars just in general than it is down here. So we're gonna check this out. Should be a good one. Let's see what's going down in NYC, man.
New York City has a problem. Just 5 years ago, NYPD responded to an average of 10 calls per month for drag racing across the city's 5 boroughs. Today, the average has skyrocketed to 10 calls per day.
Woo! Yep. Seen plenty of clips like this.
This multifaceted issue has only grown worse over the years, partly fueled by the easy access to affordable but fast vehicles. The systematic dismantling of drag racing tracks across America thanks to the effects of urban sprawl, and the worst one of all, the insatiable appetite for Instagram clout.
Yep. They almost wiped out. And I think I've seen that clip before on social media too as well.
The risk for participating in a street race in New York is a Class A misdemeanor, punishable with a fine between $300 to $525, but the reward of likes, followers, and a buzzing Instagram username handle seems to be a fair exchange to young, impressionable minds across the city.
Not the U-Haul rap on the Chrysler.
NYPD's multi-billion-dollar annual budget and 36,000 full-time officers are in an ongoing struggle to keep the city's street racing epidemic under control, but with suspect cars that drastically...
I've seen this clip. My man was cutting up, didn't care, and was still able to get away. Cops was right on him, and he was still able to get away. That's crazy.
Overpower patrol vehicles and crumbling infrastructure make it almost impossible to solve. But how did it get to this point? Well, it's pretty complicated. Welcome to Explained.
I like the video production on this. Like
the height of the 60s muscle car,
like how it's set up, how they, the graphics and stuff like that. I'm rocking with this, man.
Era street racing was a frowned upon and unspoken reality for the NHRA.
Oh man, that's some old school
controlled environments for racing with lucrative ticket sales at racetracks, while some racers wanted to test their production-based pro stock cars on the street for bragging rights, big crowds, and huge tax-free winnings.
Damn.
Across the U.S. in the late 60s, there were numerous hotspots of illegal street racing, from the stretch of road between Detroit and Pontiac, Michigan, named Woodward Avenue, where an unbeatable Hemi-powered Plymouth GTX, nicknamed the Silver Bullet, was king, all the way to the birthplace of hot rodding itself, Southern California, where racers would cruise Van Nuys Boulevard and search for quarter-mile races from stoplight to stoplight. In New York City, however, racing was more discreet and more dangerous. The connecting highway, which like it sounds connected the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway to the Grand Central Parkway in Queens, was the home of big money races in the city. Everything from pro stock Hemis to even a dragster raced from underpass to underpass, with as many as 40 cars and 3,000 spectators occupying the lanes on any given night. as the police presence became overwhelming.
So this has been a thing in NYC. Like, this is like part of their culture, their car culture. Like, this is nothing new.
Even to the point of 26 arrests in a single day, the illegal races would scatter across the city, and the legend of the connecting highway would be relegated to Polaroid photos and magazines.
This is why we say, and I'm going to continue to say this, don't be sleeping on them Hondas, y'all. Don't be sleeping on them.
The reputation of these Hondas would then become immortalized when an article written by Ken Lee called Racer X was published in the May 1998 issue of Vibe magazine, which tells the story of a street racer named Rafael Estevez and his quest for a 10-second quarter-mile capable Honda. The Racer X article would reach all the way to Hollywood, inspiring director Rob Cohen to pitch the idea of a street racing movie, Pictures, which birthed the Fast and Furious movie. And street racing emerged out of the shadows into the mainstream.
That's crazy how that one article ultimately created the birth of Fast and the Furious series, which ultimately brought more light to the car scene, the underground racing scene, and it birthed a generation of car enthusiasts. That's funny how one domino falls and then everything else just falls afterwards. That's actually pretty interesting. I never knew that, man.
There was an explosion of tuning shops all over the city catering to imports from Honda, Nissan, Mitsubishi, and Subaru, and even German offerings from BMW like the M3 and AMGs from Mercedes, all with the goal of squeezing out every ounce of power that the manufacturer leaves on the table.
You said 883 wheel horsepower is ridiculous.
And as the years progressed, ECU processors got more powerful, turbocharger design and implementation got better, and ultimately the cars got much faster and more dangerous.
Woo. Oh no.
An even more concerning issue was starting to rear its head, which was the systematic shutdown of racetracks around the city due to suburban sprawl. The process typically happened like this. A drag strip built in the 50s and 60s on acres of agricultural zoned area becomes encroached upon by developments of residential homes and commercial shopping centers as the population grows on the outskirts of the city. As homes are built near racetracks, complaints of noise begin to happen, limiting the time the track can operate, and with the land the drag strip is built on being much more valuable, and the city wanting property tax revenue from residential homes and shopping malls rather than a drag strip, the owner of the drag strip sells the property versus continuing a losing battle against residents and urban planning committees. On Long Island, with a population over 8 million residents, racetracks were subsequently shut down like West Hampton, Freeport, and Islip, with the same story, sold to corporations since the property taxes based on the increased land value was more than what the racetrack could bring in with ticket sales.
Yep, and that's usually what happens, man. The racetracks have started to disappear, the drag strips. So, you know, people say, fuck it, we're going to find some area, a quarter mile, and we're going to do the do. Granted, is it safe a lot of times? No. I mean, granted, racing even on a drag strip, you know, it's in safer conditions, but still, you know, a risk getting behind the wheel and gunning it. So, but at the same time, that's what people have been doing. Granted, people were doing it before, you know, the drag strips were being taken away, but now, you know, you don't have that option really to do that. So guess what people do? They find an area or they shut down a whole damn highway and they say, fuck it, we gonna do it like this because fuck it.
If you wanted to race legally, you'd have to take the hour's drive with tolls to New Jersey's Atco Dragway, which some did, but a lot of racers just took it to the streets, and the street racing problem grew tremendously across all 5 boroughs. One glaring factor to the rise of New York's unstoppable street racing scene, and even the country as a whole, was the ease of access to fast cars.
Yep.
In the 1960s, a 10-second quarter-mile streetcar took an assortment of parts to be quick, from a fully built and blueprinted engine, a built transmission with a higher stall converter, higher rear gear ratio, traction aids, and even nitrous. In today's world, an unassuming BMW 340i xDrive with the venerable B58 turbo inline-6 engine is just an ECU tune, a downpipe, and E85 fuel away from matching those figures, while also being very unsuspecting to the naked eye.
I'm telling you, bro. I am telling you, I've raced some people in those exact BMWs, bro. Stock. Gone. BMW, one thing I can say, they can make so much power stock. Once you downpipe, you don't even have to do E85 if you don't want to. Just a ECU tune in the downpipe, bro, making damn near 600 plus. Ease, with ease. A lot of times, it's ridiculous.
60, 100.
That's crazy.
200.
That's crazy.
The BMW 340i was essentially half the price of the flagship BMW M3,
Yeah.
but with bolt-on modifications, it was faster for much cheaper.
Yeah. Woo.
Where a Chevelle or Fox Body Mustang would need a skilled professional to re-engineer the car to reach those breakneck speeds in 1,320 feet, the BMW or even an Infiniti Q50 was just some hand tools and an internet connection away from being a real performer, and younger enthusiasts quickly flocked to those platforms. 1, 2, 3.
Woo! And that was a good race too. That's a good race. Not a bad one.
Social media played an immense role in bringing awareness to certain cars as sleepers, or cars that go under the radar from cops, as they blend in well with traffic but possess the performance of much more ostentatious supercars. A young Jamaican teen going by the Instagram username OneStockF30 was integral in
Oh yeah, man. I think he recently just passed away. If I'm not mistaken. Hold on, let me check. I think he recently did one. Hold on. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he recently just passed away. This video was recorded or published, I believe, like a year ago. So he recently just passed away, man. Rest in peace to him. I believe he was in a car accident. I think he was doing a run, and I think he ended up losing control. I could be wrong, but he recently just passed away, and I saw a lot. I didn't know who he was prior to, but I've seen a lot of people in the car community show a lot of love and appreciation for what he's done for the car community and stuff like that. So it's definitely tragic, but I didn't know who he was prior to, so.
showing the potential of these understated BMWs. Racing built Nissan GTRs, Camaro Z01s, and Trackhawks, vehicles worth double and triple the price, and winning.
That's crazy, bro. Damn.
At one point, the whole city was tuned into an unfolding David versus Goliath story. A measly BMW 340i taking down exotics and muscle cars on the street for bets as large as $40,000. The reputation of German coupes and sedans had always been a staple amongst New Yorkers, dating back to the 80s with the E30 M3, the 500e Mercedes, the SL, and many more. But what the 240, 340, and 440i had that those didn't was that they were attainable and blended in with traffic, making it the perfect candidate for a getaway car.
Oh, boys are swimming. They are moving, by the way.
NYPD's pursuit policy requires that a vehicle pursuit be terminated whenever the risk to officers and the public outweigh the danger to the community if the suspect is not immediately apprehended.
And here's the thing. They don't do that down here. Down south, they don't give a fuck. No. They will chase you even if it endangers themselves Anybody else, unless you just too fast, like soon as you take off, you just disappear into the night type shit, they probably not. But most likely, if they have a chance, even if they have a slight chance, even if they see you for a second, bro, they're going to chase your ass down, bro. They're going to chase you down. But in New York, obviously it's different. It's more condensed. You know, population's more condensed. Traffic's more condensed. So they probably like, we don't want the risk. The risk is not worth the reward in catching someone.
Pursuits in a city as densely populated as New York are extremely dangerous to civilians and pedestrian onlookers, leading NYPD to almost always call off chases for non-violent crimes like street racing and speeding. Officers would rather use the offender's license plate to reveal the identity of the individual and arrest later in a much safer environment. This doctrine made the trend of using ghost cars or vehicles with altered or stolen plates that don't match the offender's identity so they can elude police with impunity to become the norm amongst criminals and even street racers.
A crackdown announced today on what Mayor Adams calls ghost cars. Those are vehicles that have fake license plates on them.
In response, NYPD in the beginning of 2023 began to chase indiscriminately, with a 600% jump in pursuits from the prior year, thanks to the most active of units called the Community Response Teams, which are plainclothes officers in polo shirts and khakis who drive unmarked cars, which are mostly blacked out Ford Tauruses. This explosion in pursuits does have a downside. Innocent civilians who are caught between the struggle of man and machine, and in some cases have to pay the ultimate price. The NYPD is stuck between a rock and a hard place when it comes to solving the street racing issue, being more tough on evaders and chasing them, pitting innocent civilians at risk, or call off the chase, which reinforces criminals to running away and burdens the system with higher insurance premiums thanks to hit and runners. In essence, New York street racing problem just boils down to three factors. Every year there are less and less drag strips which house a safe and controlled environment for racing to happen thanks to the effects of urban development. Having access to a 500 horsepower or more car is as easy as signing on the dotted line for a high interest rate loan on a used BMW and adding a downpipe and a tune. And last of all, social media encourages copycats to emulate what they see for likes and follows, but most lack the skill set required to properly control and handle a performance vehicle, leading to more preventable accidents that burden the system as a whole.
Oh, Lord.
I say all this to say, if you see a Where's 981 or Sean video, don't replicate it because you don't got it and you'll probably Mac.
You don't got it. Hey man, this was a really good video, man. I like how it was produced. Definitely gonna give this a like, man. Yeah, bro. It's one of those things where obviously the New York race scene is completely different than anywhere else in the country, you know, so it's very interesting to know how, you know, really the car culture has been in New York for a very long time, and people are still doing it to this day. So comment down below, let me know, especially my New York subscribers, if you're from New York or been down up there, you know, for a while and you was part of the car scene. How is it? Is it still relatively the same? I know they've placed more stricter rules up there, you know, when it comes to having cars and operating them, and even if you even think about speeding or racing, it's definitely different than what it was just a few years ago. Let me know how the car scene is. Is the racing scene still prevalent like it has been in the past, or has it died down because of stricter regulations? Y'all let me know. And for anyone else, wherever you are located in the country, let me know, how's the racing scene wherever you are. Or do y'all have like a drag strip readily available for people to go use? Is the racing scene pretty chill, or is it really active? Let me know down below wherever you are located at. But I appreciate all love, support. Road to 20K. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all on the next one, man. Peace.